Hey everyone, it's almost unbelievable, but we're on the verge of hitting 1,000 subscribers. Seriously, we're so close, and your support is what gets us there. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, now's the moment. Join the ride, become part of our community, and help us share these stories with even more people. Your support means everything, and it fuels everything we do. Okay, enough of the thank you speech. Let's dive into today's story. Get ready. It's a wild one. Sarah woke up disoriented, a thick fog in her mind, and a blinding fluorescent glare stabbing at her eyes. She squeezed them shut again, the harsh light too much to handle. It was her nose that first whispered a clue, that sterile antiseptic smell, unmistakably hospital. Okay, hospital, that was something. But the rest, the why, the how, it was all blank. Then her ears perked up. Music? No, voices. Familiar voices. It was the 7 p.m. news, the local station. She and John, her husband, always watched it together. Husband. Yes, she had a husband. A knot of unease tightened in her stomach. Why couldn't she picture him clearly? It was like trying to grab smoke. His name. It was right there on the tip of her tongue, but it slipped away, elusive, like water off Teflon. Finally, after a mental tug-of-war, it surfaced. John. But even as the name formed in her mind, a wave of revulsion washed over her, pushing it away, a burning coal suddenly too hot to hold. Desperate to escape the swirling confusion, she focused on the news broadcast that had pulled her from wherever she'd been. The music faded, replaced by the news anchor's droning voice. She risked another peek, eyes flickering open and shut, confirming the TV mounted on the wall. Concentrate, Sarah. Just listen. We received a DVD containing a statement from the deceased, but due to legal considerations, we can't broadcast it directly. However, we can share excerpts from the transcript. Be warned, the following content may be disturbing to some viewers. The anchor paused, a somber tone settling in. To my darling wife, Sarah, I hope my actions today finally answer the questions you've been dodging for weeks. Can we move past this? Can you forgive me? Crystal clear answer. No. To both. Let's make the finances simple, shall we? I've canceled the car insurance, the health insurance, everything. Credit cards. Paid off. Then canceled. I've established a trust. My lawyer's the trustee, and it's the sole beneficiary of my life insurance. Every cent in our bank accounts, dumped into that trust. Once everything is settled, the lawyer will distribute it all to a list of charities. Yes, charities. The kids get nothing. They're grown, educated, had every advantage. They'll be fine. My conscience? Clean. I wrote to them, explained everything, begged for their forgiveness. And no, I didn't spare them the ugly details. In fact, I suggested they use your life from now on as a prime example of what happens when you disrespect the people who love you. Consider it my second-to-last lesson. I wish I could stick around to watch how your life unfolds, Sarah. How will you explain this to our kids, our friends, the kids of our friends? But you know by now I won't be around. For the record, this isn't depression. Analyze my actions, anyone. Sane, rational, calculated, driven to the brink? Absolutely. Finding your wife in bed with another man is bad enough. But when she tells you to leave so they can continue, that's the kind of thing that shatters even the strongest person. Even in her hazy state, the words hit Sarah like a physical blow. This was about her, about John, about what happened. She desperately tried to shut out the sound, to retreat into the blankness, but her mind, traitorously, filled with images. The party, the monthly get-together with their tight-knit group of friends, all couples, all at the same stage of life. Kids grown, or no kids at all. This month, it was Emily and Mark hosting. John was supposed to be on the afternoon shift at the docks. Later she'd learned about the crane malfunction. Work shut down. Early release for everyone. He'd walked into the party, asking for her. Some people shrugged, genuinely clueless. Others mumbled excuses. Emily said she wasn't there. Then Peter, bless his terrible lying skills, stammered something about not knowing, eyes darting upstairs. John didn't miss it. 3 people tried to block his way, a pathetic human barricade. He pushed past them, burst into the master bedroom, and there she was, with Mark, right there. Even as the bedroom door crashed open, Sarah hadn't stopped. She'd opened her eyes, seen John standing over Mark's shoulder. She'd been so close, so focused. Simultaneous orgasm, the elusive goal they'd chased for years. In that moment, on the edge of something explosive, the closest sane people get to madness, she'd simply hissed, "Go away," and squeezed her eyes shut again, willing herself back to the peak. Ruined. Her moment ruined. Mark, oblivious, finished. Then, slowly, horror dawned on his face. He scrambled out of bed, pulling on clothes, Sarah following suit. They raced downstairs to find John, but he was gone. This memory, sharp and brutal, forced Sarah back to the TV. The anchor was still reading. To the media, I have a suggestion, a public service opportunity. Follow my ex-wife, follow the others involved, for years. Show the long-term damage. Make it brutal, pathetic enough to be a constant reminder of the consequences of disrespect. Unless, of course, the pathetic excuse for a woman takes the easy way out. Doubtful. She'll recognize the damage of losing one parent, won't want to compound it by losing both. Maybe the media can do a show on how to end a marriage the right way, a counterpoint to our messed-up divorce laws. No-fault divorce seemed valid at the time, but it's time for a review. We have data now. Old system versus new. Independent review. Find the wise path. Off-the-cuff suggestion. Keep no fault for kids. Go back to the old system for childless couples. Punish the cheaters. No fault just rewards primary caregivers who destroy trust. My lawyer told me I'd get less than half my assets. Less than half. For a lifetime of fidelity. A career risking my life at the docks to give her a comfortable life. One request for the review board. Exclude the man-hating, radical feminist brigade. They've got too much control over our laws already. And ditch the metrosexual bend-over-and-take-it crowd, too. They're no help. One last note to lawmakers. Keep feeding hormones to livestock. Expect more gender confusion in society. Just saying. Sarah's mind recoiled, desperately seeking escape in the past again. After the party, John had vanished. Days of frantic calls, searching, nothing. She felt no guilt, not really. It was justifiable. The way he found out, regrettable, but not her fault. When he finally reappeared, she was ready for a screaming match, the verbal lashing she deserved. Instead, a hollow shell of a man walked back into her life. 4 days. 4 days to craft her defense. She launched it immediately. Emily's women's problems years ago, the intimacy issues with Mark that followed. For his sake, she'd still go through the motions when he wanted, but her lack of enthusiasm was obvious, killing his mood. Surely John understood. When Mark and Emily confided in her about their marital struggles, she'd seen it as her duty, a friend's obligation, to help them. A couple times a month, that's all. Couldn't he see? She'd shown respect for him, John, by ensuring his own marital life hadn't suffered. Of course, sometimes he got sloppy seconds, but she couldn't refuse him on those days. That would impact their intimacy. And she'd protected him further, never letting him go down on her on Mark days. Her sacrifice. Discreet. 3 years, only 3 other couples knew, sworn to secrecy. She'd beamed with pride delivering this masterpiece of justification. John wouldn't want everyone thinking his wife was a cheater, would he? And Susan, Mark, and herself, they'd kept it from him to spare him the pain. After all, after so long, she knew him, his pride. Sharing her with another man. Unthinkable for him. She'd protected him from that angst, kept it a secret. These justifications, meticulously crafted in those 4 days of John's absence, were all pre-party. The one that took the full 4 days to rationalize was her go-away response. Hindsight, it could be misinterpreted as indifference. Her final justification, caught in the moment. And imagine the tables turned. In Mark's place, would John have welcomed his climax being ruined? She'd finished her monologue expecting something. But John was blank. No reaction, no anger, no tears, nothing. Remorse flickered in her, then faded. She'd asked him to forgive her, hoped they could move on. No doubt in her mind it was just time, patience. 3 weeks of giving him space. They didn't talk about it again. Relief when he seemed almost normal, except for a strange, vacant look in his eyes. Like the pilot light had gone out. Processing, obviously. He spent hours in the garage working on his projects. The cement mixer hummed at all hours. Never occurred to her to ask about the lack of fresh concrete. The phone rang constantly. Worried friends, the ones in the know asking about John, the clueless couples pumping her for information, feeling awkward. She twisted the truth, told them John knew about her and Mark, had requested she abstain that weekend for their anniversary. She'd slipped up, dishonored his request. Their friends had witnessed his anger. Mark kept asking if John was ready for an apology. Sarah told him to hold off. With no intimacy from John, Sarah got Emily's okay to increase her Mark visits to once a week, minimum. 3 weeks after the party, Sarah started pushing for the next monthly gathering. Their turn to host. Show everyone they were okay. Life as usual. Friend group intact. Unfair for others to be uncomfortable over something that had nothing to do with them. That's when she saw a flicker of something in John. excitement, relief. She took it as a sign he was moving on. Party dates were sacred, last Saturday of every month. Unusual when two couples declined, prior engagements. Relief again, both from the clueless group, fewer people to lie to. Everyone else came. Party started well. 30 minutes in, another clueless couple left. Something came up. 20 minutes later, another. Suspicious. Sarah watched the remaining guests, the mood shifting, growing quieter, more strained than the dwindling numbers explained. She saw John talking to Jessica and Tom across the room. Intense look on John's face, downcast eyes from Jessica and Tom. Head shaking, John moved on to Lisa and Michael. Same intense look, but no downcast eyes this time. Vigorous head shaking, animated conversation. 5 minutes later, Lisa said goodnight. They left. Sarah's anger exploded. What right did John have to alienate their friends, embarrassing her? She stormed into the kitchen to confront him. Mark, seeing the storm brewing, followed, ignoring her, hissed, "Stay the hell away from John." "What the hell are you doing? Upsetting our friends? Can't you see you're embarrassing me?" John turned, a strange calmness in his eyes. "Sorry, dear. Just figuring out who the innocents were and who the conspirators were." He glanced at Mark. "Ah, Mark, welcome. Glad you're both here. In the spirit of fairness and respect for our years of friendship, I should tell you, I'm going to the basement now to get my pistol from the safe. When I come back, I'm shooting you both dead." John turned and walked out. Mark grabbed for his arm, but Sarah pulled him back. "Come on, Mark, let's get out of here." "You think he's serious? He won't do it. Payback, scaring us." Mark scoffed. "You didn't see his eyes, Mark." "John has green eyes. That thing had black eyes, monster eyes. I think we created a monster. We have to go, now." "What about Emily?" Mark asked, panicked. "Leave her. She's safe. Let's go." That's where the memory stopped. No more replays. Her attention snapped back to the TV. The anchor's voice, chillingly calm. "To all the family and friends of people who called themselves my friends, but failed to warn me about my darling wife's little arrangement. My profound apologies. I hope I've sent a message to society. This behavior, unacceptable. Punishment, necessary. With the media's help, this lesson can last for years. At least these loathsome creatures are out of the gene pool." Finally, to my former friend Mark, 35 days after me, you'll learn the same lesson I did. The one thing worse than death, losing the person you loved unconditionally, having your heart ripped out and, well, you get the picture. As I said to your cheating woman, good luck explaining the loss of their mother to your kids, knowing in your heart they blame you. Your children can share in my last lesson to mine, seeing how a real man dies. Good luck explaining that to your other family, your friends. History might judge Emily got off easy. Worse than death, a life of regret. Goodbye, my friend. See you in hell." Sarah slipped back into unconsciousness, the words echoing in her mind. Suppressed memories surged, vivid, brutal. Dragging Mark out the front door, the deadlock clicking behind them. Reaching the other side of the street, glancing back, seeing John in the window, watching her. Running, running, until the earth ripped apart, the explosion throwing them both to the ground. Just before blackness swallowed her, she'd instinctively pulled Mark under a pickup truck, shielding them from falling debris. The remembered pain jolted her awake again. Back to the news. Today's top story. A house in suburban Crestwood was completely destroyed this afternoon in a massive explosion. 2 people outside the house were injured, currently listed in stable condition. Police spokesperson stated they believe at least 8 people were inside the residence at the time, presumed dead. The house belonged to John Miller, a dock worker at the Port Authority. More details to follow. Sarah drifted back into blessed oblivion, but the flashbacks clawed at her dreams. John once telling her about the fertilizer bomb, the common dock explosive, garden fertilizer and fuel oil mixed in a cement mixer, detonator and booster to set it off. Easy to make, he'd said. Just gotta mix it good. Darkness closing in. One last devastating collage of memory flashed through her shattered mind. John, standing at the window, their house behind him a cheerful yellow, in his left hand, a small yellow box with dangling wires. 7 faces inside, frozen, eyes darting between the box, John's hand, and the fleeing couple outside. In slow motion, she saw John's green eyes crinkle at the corners as he smiled, raised the box and pressed a button. 2 months later. Tonight on Channel 10, our regular public information segment, we were scheduled to bring you an update on Mark Weston, the partner in the infamous Miller-Weston tragedy. Unfortunately, due to his tragic suicide earlier this week, we are unable to do so. Instead, we'll be bringing you an interview with Donna Miller, eldest daughter of Janet and Peter Smith, one of the couples who perished in the Crestwood explosion. Following that, we'll have an update on the surge of confession stories, divorce filings, and requests for counseling sweeping the nation. The American Counseling Association reports the waiting list for marriage counseling has now exceeded 3 months. Stay tuned. And so we've reached the end of today's story. Was that what you were expecting? Did you see that twist coming? I'm really curious to know what you thought. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going. If you were hooked by this story, smash that like button. And if you're new here, or you're just lurking and haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time to join our community. I bring you brand new captivating stories every single day, so click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.